I think I am gonna keep the gum.
You said
I'll
what?
just try not to. I'm
Are you
gonna
done
keep the
scratching your
gum.
eye?
No, hopefully we gotta go. I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Oh man,
My
what's up?
allergies are that bad.
Okay. Well, what's up, everybody? This is the Pollard podcast. I am your host, Bernard Pollard, and my co-host is Alex Pollard. Yes, there are two of us, and he's my nephew. I love him to life, and we're excited you are tuning in with us today. Ah, my nephew, Alex freaking Pollard. I say freaking a lot. Why do I say freaking a lot, Alex?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. You don't really need to do that, but if you could just eliminate all the freaking and the uhs, I don't know what else. There's something else you say a lot, and I don't remember what it was now.
Oh, I say piss. I do say piss a lot. I
It
do.
wasn't that. It wasn't that. It
Okay.
was something else.
Awesome.
No,
Oh, okay. All right.
I,
Well,
I really don't. I really don't remember.
okay. Well, Alex, you go to Florida State, correct?
Yep.
What are you
Yep.
what are you
Yep.
studying at Florida State, dude?
I'm a junior. I'm in sports management. I technically start the program this semester, but sports management. It's in the name, sports. I'm not gonna get a lot of credit for what I actually know on this show. Everybody, just so you know, um, I definitely know a lot more than what it's gonna seem like.
That's why I love you, dude. That's why I love you. So, guys, as I said before, this is our very first episode. We are excited you are here with us today. Today, we are going to be talking my journey to NASCAR. Now, on this show, we're going to talk sports. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk all kind of crazy things. But we want to laugh. We want to be open. And today, you're going to get the uncut version of my journey to NASCAR. Now, this is obviously the 2021 season. I have been around NASCAR since the 2020 season. It's not long. I know.
One
Don't
whole
stone me.
year,
I know, right?
one
So,
whole year.
hey, but I'm proud of that year. So, guys, I am proud of. I'm proud of what I've done. I have given this sport a try, a chance. And as I said in my Twitter video before, don't knock it until you try it. And I was preaching to myself. Now, I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, as did Alex. And, we knew about NASCAR, but we didn't know about NASCAR. I played football, basketball, and I ran track. Now, with all of that, guys, we didn't grow up around people who went to NASCAR races, who uh, was in love with the sport of NASCAR, who talked about NASCAR. So for me, I know where I'm from. It was black people weren't included. There were no black drivers. You know, that's just what it is. And so, I understand that may have been some other people's experiences, right? But I don't necessarily know if it was, especially the people in my family, because I know they ain't have money to go to no race tracks or races or whatever. So they probably was just telling me what they heard. So once again, I don't want to minimize anybody's. And it's both things in my mind. I don't want to minimize anybody's experience or the things that took place, but at the same time, it was told to me at a young age. So I played football, played basketball, and I ran track. Now, obviously, I was really good at football. I played all the way up through high school to college. I played 9 years in the National Football League. I didn't, play with the teammates that talked about NASCAR, didn't play with teammates who watched NASCAR. So once again, all the way through my playing career and after I retired, I still did not talk about NASCAR or engage with NASCAR. I saw commercials when I was younger. Didn't really, stop. I was never intrigued enough to stop it and watch it or races when I was flipping through the channels. But I was just always, football. I was always basketball. I really never really watched track. Now, Alex, you came before Wayne. Did you ever watch NASCAR?
No, I really don't think I ever watched a race when I lived in Indiana. I've watched like two races in the last year. I've seen bits and pieces of like the Indy 500 a couple times, but I mean that's really it.
Okay. But I mean, so
Yeah.
here you go. You got two dudes, one that's been on for a year, another that really haven't gotten into it, talking about the sport of NASCAR. Now, at 35 years old, as I said, I retired, and I came. It was a crazy day. I was looking for something, and at 35, we're in COVID, in the middle of the pandemic, and it was sports after sports were canceling their seasons because of COVID. Now, I remember I was walking through the bedroom, I was looking for something. My wife was watching CNN. Now, as she's watching CNN, Don Lemon had said he was about to get ready to talk to NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace. Now, it was a lot of things going on racially, and still is to this day, but nevertheless, there was a lot of things going on racially. And they were talking about potentially, canceling the season or just not having fans at the tracks. Now, when he said, I'm going to be talking to NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace, I was just like, wait a minute. Bubba, like that sounds like a brother. Like, and so that stopped me. I don't know why at 35 it stopped me and then not at, the age. Well, obviously I didn't hear the name Bubba when I was younger, but it stopped me at 35. And I was glued to the television because I heard Bubba talking about, different things for him as a driver and looking at the 2020 season, what he was looking to do and everything else. So I was just intrigued. I wanted to learn more. So I made a promise that I was going to give this sport a chance. Because once again, as a kid, I was told that all they do is go fast. Everybody got the same setup. You just turn left. There's no strategy. Once again, blacks wasn't included. There was no black people involved, whatever it may be. So during this time in this interview as well, they were talking about, the NASCAR Association was talking about banning the Confederate flag. So I'm watching, NASCAR make change. I'm watching NASCAR not only talk about it, but be about it. Now, I come from the National Football League where they talk a big game, they talk a good game, and then, you find out it's fluff. I'm here to tell you, some of y'all may not like what I just said, but I'm here to tell you it's truth. The business side of football, the game of football, training football, playing football, I understand it. I can do it. Not every NFL player understands it, can do it, can train it, can coach it, whatever. I can. Not to sound whatever. But with all of that, like I was just like, I'm watching NASCAR make these changes, and they're adamant about hiring people and putting them in roles to be able to make the changes, and I felt like this was it. I felt like this was time. And so as we get to I get to my first race and I'm watching the very first race and my mind was blown. I was hooked. And when I say literally hearing the spotters, hearing the crew chief, watching the pit crew, watching the skill set, watching the machine that the skill set was in, controlling that car, it honestly blew my mind. And then for me, when I made a decision to watch the sport, I YouTube watch, right? I like watching film. That's what I do for a living. That's what I did for a living. And I watched the fights. I watched the arguments. I watched the battles. I watched, who was the rivalries between the drivers, the older drivers, the old vets, from the guys that's going. I'm hearing the word pissed off. I love saying piss. I love saying the word piss. And I'm hearing guys and girls talk about this and say this in interview. I was hooked. And it just blew my mind. Honestly, it blew my mind. Now, Alex, I know you said you have not like watched NASCAR, but from what you heard about NASCAR, like what was your what did you see? Like what was your thought process about the sport?
Like beforehand,
Before I even got into it.
before, I mean, pretty much the same as you. I mean, I kind of thought it was pretty level all around. Like what, like I guess for me, a comparison would kind of be like the NFL, where you got the salary cap, everybody's playing under the same rules. Um, and I know we'll get into it a little bit later, but it's definitely not like that. And it to me, now that I know more about it, it's more like college football, where you can have groups and organizations kind of take over and dominate for a while. But I mean, I really didn't know anything about it. I almost thought it was just kind of like based off of experience, I guess, obviously, and then a little bit of luck. Somebody crashes, that changes the whole race.
Right.
things like that. Your tire blows. That's just unfortunate for you. You're not going to do good in that race. Just kind of things like that. And then obviously, I knew little bits and pieces. Driving behind people, saving a little bit of gas, using people to kind of blow past them. So there's a little bit of skill in there, but I definitely didn't know like the whole of, cars all have different setups. There's all the pit crews don't operate the same. There's different strategies. I didn't know any of that.
So what you just said was more than what I knew, and I'm actually surprised at that. But you know,
Oh, come on. Here we go. It's see first episode.
I'm
We're already going downhill.
I'm okay. We're not gonna go down here. Let's. I'm sorry, nephew. I'm sorry about that. But as we talk about this, during the 2020 season, once again, the first race blew my mind. Finding out about all the stuff that you just talked about, finding out about the teamwork behind the game, finding out about the crew chiefs and the pit crews, and them having. I didn't know they had like you were. You could have a teammate and guys help. I didn't find out about the drafting, the pushing, and the just the way they use the air, clean air, dirty air. I
Hmm.
didn't know about any of that. And for me, like once again, hearing there was no strategy as a young child, hearing about all that stuff, I found out the sport is pretty expensive. But
Oh
we
yeah,
didn't know that we wouldn't have been able to be a part of it
yeah.
as a young child, anyways. We ain't had the money. But as I watch, once again, watching race after race after race, and I was adamant that I was okay with not going to a race. I was
Mhm.
okay with just watching on television. And as I'm watching on television, the time that we live in, obviously we have social media. So being able to have social media and have being on Twitter and at Crushboy31, I'm sorry I had to throw that out there, but
Oh my.
um, taking it to Twitter and talking to fans, and I just remember as I got into it, everybody was saying like Bernard, like, oh, it's not real, like they might ban the Confederate flag, but the people still the same, whatever it may be. I wasn't listening to any of that bullcrap because I was like, you know what? I listened to it as a young child. At 35 years old, I'm just now getting into it. I don't want to hear nothing. I canceled out all the noise, and I engaged with people on social media through Twitter, through Instagram, through Facebook. And once again, mine was blown. I found myself falling in love with a sport that I had no clue about. I was only maybe 5 races in with an interview. And so many people, when they ask, like, Yo, Bernard, like, you're a former football player. Why are you watching NASCAR? And I'm looking like, well, I watched the interview with Bubba Wallace, and everybody was like, oh, well, you follow Bubba. Like, everybody thought I was like a Bubba fan. I don't know why, Alex. Like, I guess because he was
Yeah.
black. But I told people, I'm like, just because he black doesn't mean, I'm going to follow him. Like, I support all the drivers. I want to watch all the drivers be successful. For me, I'm a vet dude. Watching and liking Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick. Watching them cats and then watching the young dudes come on, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and I started to find out a little more about Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon, and when I watched on YouTube where Jeff Gordon was he represented DuPont. Like I remember in middle school and high school, people wearing DuPont jackets, and it was for style because I know they didn't know about NASCAR. At least I know I didn't know, and I'm almost positive they didn't know. But we're looking at this, and I'm learning about these cats, and throughout the 2020 season, just finding out about all these small things. Still don't understand. I still can honestly say I don't understand everything. I can carry a conversation, but I still don't understand everything about the sport. But I'm watching and I'm engaging with fans, and that was just awesome for me to be able to be a part of that with the fans, to do things with NASCAR, because NASCAR saw me getting engaged and asking questions because I really wanted to know, and talking with drivers, and that was a cool thing. But I like talking with the fans. I like kicking it with the common folk. Like I don't need to be at the big table, right? So that was just an experience for me. And then throughout the 2020 season, I get a chance to. Somebody had mentioned diecast. Now, do you know what diecast is?
No, I didn't until I started seeing them all over your Twitter. I had I had no idea. And then when I was there last, I saw all of them, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So finding out, like, I had no clue collecting diecast could be this addicting. Now, I collect comics, I collect diecast, and to be able, like for this sport, to be able to be a part of, I mean, I guess the racer winning, right? The winning racer of that race, that I want to say race meet, that the race,
Just
to
the
be able to
race. Yeah.
purchase, right? Yeah. So to be able to
Yeah.
purchase that diecast and have that diecast available to collect it and to hold on to it, I was just like, yo, I didn't collect cards as a young kid. I didn't do all of that stuff. But as a 35-year-old man, I'm looking like, this is so awesome to be able to have these ties, have this kind of connection with this driver, even though I wasn't connected to the driver. That did sound creepy. I'm sorry. But to be able to have that, and it was just awesome to me. And I was just, I mean, once again, it was like every corner I was turning, learning about this sport, my mind was blown. And I fell more in love with the sport. And so, you know, I don't what did you see? I mean, being my family, being my nephew, knowing, understanding how I was, being around me for a long time, what did you see when you saw me in 2020 watching NASCAR?
Um, well, I mean, I thought it was weird. What will probably surprise a lot of people is you don't watch football. Like you don't watch any football. I'll call you on a Sunday while I'm sitting on the couch watching football for 7 hours. You'll be, I don't even know what you'll be doing. Anything other than watching a football game. So I definitely thought it was weird that, you were somehow watching some other sport.
Yeah,
Because I mean, even like you said, like you played basketball growing up, you don't watch basketball.
right.
You definitely don't watch baseball or soccer or hockey. Um, so that was weird. But then like kind of moving into the fans, and just like how you were interacting with them on Twitter, that didn't surprise me as much. Um, and I mean, I think I don't know if you saw it that way, but I think that like definitely pushed you into watching it more. Just because like I know like that's how you are, especially with your Twitter. Like I mean, you like talking with people on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether it's good or bad, I mean, you'll argue with people on Twitter. And then being in Nashville, that definitely helped. I feel like NASCAR is pretty big there. Got a lot of Titan fans there. Not as many Baltimore fans. They probably weren't on your NASCAR tweets,
Yeah, they
but
wasn't.
that's just that. Yeah, no, they don't like you. But the Tennessee people do. I'd say you're pretty popular there in Nashville. And then when you started taking up NASCAR, they were like, "Well, that's crazy." And I mean, them liking that you were watching it, and then you starting to like it and liking to interact with them, just kind of pushed you into watching it more, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
well,
definitely
that was,
super weird though,
yeah.
because you literally don't even watch football. So
Yeah,
I don't.
that's the fun part. So that's the fun part for me. And once again, as I talked about it, like throughout the 2020 season, I think towards the middle of the season, you talked about it a little bit earlier, but as far as the same setup, I'm thinking everybody had the same setup. I'm watching, Kevin Harvick, I'm watching Denny Hamlin just crush races. Every race is them two dudes. Martin Truex Jr. was there, and of course, like I told you, I love the vet, right? So I'm watching these dudes just crush it, and I'm looking like, why aren't these other guys doing the same thing that they're doing? And I remember a fan telling me, was just like, yo, they ain't got the money. They don't have the backing, like the sponsorships and everything else. And finding out about that, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't understand drivers having a specific setup and have liking their car loose or liking their car tighter, a short track or a long track, a big track, whatever it may be. That all of it, like all of this, blew my mind. Road courses blew my mind. And then, of course, in the 2020 season, I'm pretty sure a lot of you can remember, there were a lot of delays because of the rain. But that didn't. I mean, I remember a lot of fans was like, Bernard, stick with us, like man, like it doesn't normally rain like this and everything else. Look, hey, God control that rain, man. We can't help that. And I was just blown away at the production side of it for NASCAR because with every delay they had was just spitting knowledge, like history. And I was learning about older drivers and tracks and things like that. Watching Dale Jr. talk about tracks that aren't there anymore. And I mean, this all just I mean, when I say I was just falling in love like head over heels for the sport. And it was just so awesome. And I'm I'm as cool as they get, right? Like I'm not, I play football, right? But
Well,
but I mean, no, I play football, but football is not my identity.
yeah.
I love first, I love serving, I love being with people, right? Like I love those relationships. I love just developing, just good relationships, and I want it to be organic, right? I don't like forced relationships because it doesn't ever end well most of the times, right? So I love that. So I was actually approached by Ally. So as you can see, I'm wearing Bowman. You see the Ally hat. I was approached by Ally to be able to come and do some work behind the scenes, and they wanted to bring me on as an influencer, and I'm not fond of that word. Like Alex, like what is that? What?
I mean, like it's just like the social media version of how you described yourself. Because like I mean, like you like engaging with fans, you like talking to fans,
Okay,
you like doing all that, and it's just nowadays it's just being that person also over social media.
right.
So I mean, you're posting all those Twitter videos, asking people questions, just keeping people up to date, things like that. So I mean, it's just doing all this stuff that you like to do in person, also on social media.
Oh, okay. But I didn't like the word influencer because I felt like, a lot of people through social media, they're just not genuine, right? They want to just make money and then they complete buttholes. I was like, you meet them, they rude, they don't want to talk, they don't want to conversate. I believe in conversating with people. I believe as a person with a following, um, I believe if you put a tweet out, you should be able to respond to people that tweet, right? That was a lot of tweets in a short, but
Hmm.
nevertheless, that's what I believe in. Honestly, that's what I believe in. So it was just cool for me to partner with Ally and to do Zoom calls with Jimmy Johnson, a 7-time champion, a cat that's a quiet dude, but at the same time, it was just so neat to be able to encounter or engage in conversation and to learn about him and how he started with racing, working out of his dad's shop and just doing off-road stuff, him and his brother and all this other stuff. I'm just looking like, wow, I get a chance. And let me let y'all know something. Race car drivers are totally different from football players. And I don't, I know some basketball players they on a whole different planet as well. But nevertheless, it was just so awesome to be able to clash with that athlete. And so watching and doing work with Ally behind the scenes with NASCAR behind the scenes, how they're helping out the underprivileged students, the schools, and helping homes and single families, and doing different things with groups. And I was just like, whoa. Like once again, man, my mind was blown because of all the things that were said. Now, I don't want to take anybody else's experience or what happened to them. If it was racially and everything else, I'm gonna tell you, since 2020, with them making a change, this is when I got in, so this is what I can speak. I don't want to, minimize what happened, but please give it a try because it's been awesome. It's been so awesome. And your experience may not be like my experience. I get it. I get it. But it's just like, I gotta tell you, give it a try because it was told to me for every young child. And I want to talk to black people. Get involved in this because it's so much competition. If you don't want to be a driver, you can be a part of you could be a crew chief, you could be a spotter, you could be in a part of the pit crew. Man, are you serious? Oh my gosh. Look, passion. You're going to get passion out of us. You're going to get arguing, debating out of us, and it goes down. But social media posts I'm doing with Ally, this was just awesome. So as the 2020 season go on continues, and I'm just like I'm watching and learning about playoffs. Did you know playoffs was in NASCAR?
So I did. I don't actually know how they work. That part doesn't make any sense to me. And I know I have after watching my whole two races and hearing about some other things, I definitely have some thoughts that you're going to disagree with. We'll get to that later. That's where the debating comes in. We'll get a little bit of that. Um, yeah, I mean, I knew they had like a whole season, a bunch of races, and I knew it was like a point system.
Right.
I just literally have no idea like how the points add up. I need to get points for like winning stages. Um, yeah, I don't know the actual structure of it though.
But I mean, once again, you knew more than me. I didn't even know about stages.
I told you, I told you, I told you. You'll never believe me. You don't believe me. I know more than what you're going to give me credit for.
Okay.
Um, in basically any sport.
Okay. Hey,
I don't even I've watched two NASCAR races and I already know more than what you think I know.
you're right. You're correct. You're correct. And look, I had to. Did you know about the choose line?
No.
Let's go. So y'all, he ain't know about the choose line. I got.
All right,
I'm a,
that's okay. See, but that's not fair. I just said two races
right. Okay.
in 20 years.
Okay.
Two races in 20 years.
You're right. All right. So
So,
look, me learning about the choose line, learning about that stages and all this other stuff. People was telling me like, as far as the points, like as far as we go back to the playoffs, they were saying like it was points and guys won a championship off all the points they accumulated throughout the year and everything else. So I mean, learning about the playoffs and what 6 to 8 guys don't crucify me. I'm still learning. I'm a work in progress, but learning about those drivers that qualified for the playoffs that had the points that was above the cut line. I think I'm saying this right, right? So the guys are above the cut line. They went to the playoffs. So I think it was 6 to 8. But everybody else, Alex, still raced in the playoffs, but they wasn't competing they wasn't competing
win
for
the
the
championship.
championship.
They're
So
just there to win.
right. So
Maybe help out their teammates. You brought that up earlier. And I've never I like in my two races, I haven't seen like any like the team stuff.
right.
Um, but I mean now that you just brought that up and then I connected that, I could see that playing a role in like a playoff race.
Right. So
But yeah, no, keep going. That's like a totally different, and I don't know anything about that. I just kind of just connected that in my head right there. But yeah,
yeah, look, y'all. Alex is smart. Like he's really smart. But nevertheless, so finding out about that and finding out about these racers, being in the playoffs and competing, and then every race, somebody, who didn't finish well, whoever was at the bottom of that line, didn't make it, but then he was competing that next week. But then somebody that wasn't in the playoffs but raced in the playoff race could get first place, but it was about who finished first out of the playoffs, guys. Yo, my mind is still blown. Like even saying that and getting it all out. Oh my gosh, that just got me real crunk. So nevertheless, I'm finding out about all of that. And then being able to see Chase Elliott come and win the championship. And I just got my diecast a couple days ago from him winning the
oh,
championship race. That was just, I mean, I can't express how excited and how proud I was of myself, how thankful I was from the fans, from NASCAR, from Ally. I was just mind blown once again. But then, Alex, going into the 2021 season, learning about I didn't necessarily know about the offseason. Like I knew, Jimmy Johnson, that was, him racing with the 48 car. I knew that was his last season. He was moving on. I didn't know how they got drivers. I didn't know if it was a free agent pool, if it was trades. I literally thought like they could trade, racers and this and that.
yeah,
That wasn't the case. Like you just like I was blown away that you can negotiate. Like they were negotiating with players or with racers before the season was over with. So racers knew where they were going before the race was over. So you had Bubba Wallace knew he was going to the 23 team while the season was in play, and Alex Bowman, knew he was going to the 48 team, coming out of the 88 car. But then the 88 car disappeared. But then the 5 car came out of nowhere. Kyle Larson, we all understand how he was penalized for using a racial slur. But let me tell everybody something about this. I know a lot of folk came down on me because they talk about how you talk about Carl Larson with what he said. Let me let you know something right now. I've had to apologize for a lot of things that I've said. You've had to apologize for a lot of things that you said. Whether it's been racial, whether it's been you've hurt somebody's feelings, whether you've done whatever. We all have to learn. We all have to grow. I'm not holding nothing over that man's head. He paid the price. He set out, did what he had to do, and now he is back dominating. I will not crucify him. I will not pass judgment on him. He apologized. I've talked to people that have been in contact with him, people that he have worked with him before, groups that he's worked with. Look, like I said, I'm not crucifying that man. I will not. I refuse to. I'm going to give him grace because that's what I get every single day, grace and mercy. And so I talk about him. I like him as a driver. I don't know him. I like him as a driver, and I will continue to like him as a driver. When you show me and you continue to show me, if you don't want to break whatever, then that's on you. You know what I'm saying? I move on. But I'm not going to dislike Kyle Larson. So for all of you folks that have been trying to get me to dislike Kyle Larson, I will not. We have all hurt. We have all been hurt. We have all had to ask for forgiveness. We have all had to apologize. And that's where it's at. So sorry to get on my spiel, Alex. But, as we go into the 2021 season, I'm watching Alex Bowman come to the 48. Ally wants me back, and they wants me to do different things. I'm super excited about that. Blessed and honored for that one. And I'm just, once again, intentionally, I didn't go to any 2020 races. 2021 come around, and I'm just like, okay, the Ally 400 is coming to Nashville, Tennessee. Now, it's in Lebanon. It's not really in Nashville, but I had that circle because I was going to that race. So as we approach that race, I'm in Chicago, and we were there watching my niece, your cousin, play in her volleyball tournament, which she's a beast. Ellie, love you, baby. But watching her dominate, we go to bed that night. I get up to Twitter notifications that I'm waving a green flag. I had no idea about that one. So as I'm waving the green flag, I'm like, or as I'm being told I'm waving the green flag, I'm like, yo, that was exciting. But at the same time, I'm scared of heights. Now, I was super excited. Now, Andrea, the CMO of Ally, she gives me a call. She's like, Bernard, it's going down. You better be ready. And I'm looking like, I'm ready. I'm going to conquer this fear, but I'm still scared.
Not ready.
Like, it's okay for me to be scared, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay. I mean, like, I'm scared of three things. Alex may disagree on this, and we won't go into the full story, but...
No, I won't disagree.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm scared of heights, water. Yep. Now, I take showers, but I'm scared of water. Pools. It's got to be... If my nipples ain't showing, I ain't getting in it. Or my nipples ain't above the water. Forgive me. I'm not getting in it. Mm-hmm. Dead animals, I'm not getting in it, or I'm not touching them. Right? That's why I don't hunt. I don't touch dead animals. I just think for some reason we all watch the movies where the black person died first, where somebody come back alive. That's what I be thinking. That's in my head. It's just crazy, right? But that's just me.
Yeah, that is crazy.
How is that crazy?
No, that connection is terrible. How a dead animal somehow relates to the black person dying first in the movie. It doesn't make any sense.
You can't don't take that away from me. That's mine.
Okay, go ahead. You can have it. Right. That's fine.
I can't swim and I'm afraid of heights. And I almost died on Alex's watch, but we won't talk about that one. He was a lifeguard too. But nevertheless,
that didn't happen.
I'm sorry, nephew. I didn't mean to bring that
up. Keep up.
All right. So the 2021 season come back around, and Ally 400 is here in Nashville. And I get back from Chicago. I'm prepping. I'm getting ready. My boy, my best friend, my brother Brian come in town. We do a lot of business stuff together, and he comes to the race. He comes to the race with me, but nevertheless, we're downtown in Nashville at the JW Marriott, and I get a chance on that Saturday. It was cocktail hour. We did fan meet and greet. That was so much fun. I walked the streets of Broadway for the first time. I'm up in a bar called Old Red, which was like a concert hall, but it's just like a bar as well above with a rooftop. So I'm there for the first time. Some of y'all might walk. I've been living here for 8 years, and I don't ever go down there. But nevertheless, I'm doing all of this on Saturday, fan engagement, finding out I'm introducing Thomas Rhett. I had no idea who Thomas Rhett was. Everybody come to me like, he only the best country music singer ever, like this and that, or for the year or something like that. I'm looking like, okay, my bad. I listen to a lot of gospel, but nevertheless. So we go back to the hotel. We go to I think it was another cocktail hour. I'm talking with Jim France. And this is the guy whose family founded NASCAR. And I'm just picking his brain. He picking my brain. We talking about football, talking about racing. He's schooling me left and right. I was just like, man, it was just awesome to be able to speak to him, to be able to be in his presence, to be able to, be there. I was like, man, like this is really, really cool. And then, to go after that, after talking to him, I end up introducing Alex Bowman and I end up introducing Thomas Rhett. And when I say, y'all, that was my first country concert. When I say that brother can straight up sing, oh my gosh. He can sing, y'all. Oh my goodness. So Brian downloaded some of his music. I downloaded some of his music on iTunes. And I mean, the Joker can go. He can go. They only allow 125, 150 people in a concert. And I mean, went back up to the second level where we watched from above and just blown away. And I keep saying the word blown away, y'all. I mean, I'm
Yep.
just blown away at all of these different experiences. And like I said, I'm so thankful. And so, Alex, did you see the video I sent your mom when I was at the concert?
No,
Did
no,
you,
I didn't see it. I heard I was in the other room. Like I heard her like watching it, but I didn't get to see it.
so, okay, me being at a country concert, what's the first thing that come to your head?
There's something wrong with that.
Okay.
And it's like the equivalent of me being at a country concert. It shouldn't be happening.
Okay. But I honestly, y'all, when I say I had so much fun, I had so much fun. And I was a little caught off guard because I'm watching Alex Bowman's there. And I mean, for me as a former football player, Saturday nights before a game, guys, it's $12,000 fine if we outside our room or in the lobby at a hotel, right? It's 12 G's. I'm watching Alex at a bar, taking pictures, talking to sponsors, signing autographs. I mean, drinking water. He wasn't drinking, but I mean, I was just like, dude, I was like, bro, I get fined. I go, why are you not in bed? He was just like, yo, man, like, we got to do this stuff for the sponsors. He's like, and I like it. I'm opening up, and I'm just like, this is so cool. Like to be able to see this. And so for me, like, I mean, I'm just learning. I'm still continuing to learn. So, he ended up leaving and we stayed. We went at 8 afterwards. And, Sunday morning come, I'm up at 3:45 in the morning at the hotel. Like I'm about to get ready to play a game. I guess all kind of stuff going through my head, like don't mess up, waving the flag, like just go attack it.
All you got to do is
and
wave the flag.
yes, right. So that's what it. So I end up getting up about 7:00. I shower up. Brian and I we go get breakfast. We end up getting in the car. We get a police escort, and I mean just to be able to see the cars piled up on the highway, trying to get to I want to say stadium, but to get to the track. Seeing all the cars trying to get in, watching the RVs, seeing people tailgate, play cornhole, ping pong, like all of that was just, I mean, it was just so awesome to see because once again, I tell you guys, I played football my whole life. I have never been able what do you call it? Tailgate. Never.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. I've never been able to tailgate. So Alex, do you tailgate at
Yeah, no,
Florida
because
State?
even, oh yeah, well, not, oh yeah, because I go in, I go in 2 hours early so I can get my front row seat.
Okay.
But I mean, now that my parents get season tickets, we will tailgate depending on what time the game is. If it's a 12:30 game, I'm only gonna be there for like 30 minutes
Right.
because I gotta head in early. Um, but like week one, we've got Notre Dame at night. We'll be tailgating all day, playing cornhole, grilling, watching the other games that day. It's fun, and I know like even we went to that Purdue game 2 3 years ago, but like even then, like you didn't get to like tailgate there just because of
Oh,
like why we were there because we did go to that, but there wasn't any tailgating there.
yeah, you talking about the bowl game.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like these are things like I don't get. I've never had an opportunity to experience tailgating because I've always been prepping and getting ready for the game. So I'm watching all of this happen. I mean, it was so funny, man. And look, this is the uncut version, y'all. This is, man, a woman come. I went over to Al and Jen's RV, and they're good friends of mine here in Nashville, and they are diehard race car fans and Kyle Larson fans, and Al is iRacing. I ain't even talked about that, but he got me into iRacing, and he kind of schooled me on that. But I'm looking we were talking, and she got me some cookies from Cookie Crumble or Crumble Cookie, whatever it's called, but they banging. A lady come out her door of her RV I'm talking about like a nightgown on, holding her bra, and her husband out there barbecuing or whatever, and she just talking, yelling at him, and I'm staring at her like, "Oh shoot!" She's staring at me like, "What? Ain't nothing, no, ain't nothing, different. It's normal for us."
We've been living here the last week.
Right? They literally was there from like Wednesday until Sunday or Monday, and I was just like, "Wow!" Like I'm just looking like, "Yo, boobies hanging. Like, yo, you don't like you holding your bra, man. Put it on. Like, it's just crazy." But whatever. Forgive me, y'all. So all of this going over to the RVs and going to pit road and watching. I saw my old teammate that was here with me with the Tennessee Titans. He's working with the team, and I mean, he's on their pit crew team. Just watching and hearing them talking about, their positions on the team as far as with their driver, but hearing the positions they played on a football field and how they kind of went together and how they got to move in sequence and do certain things, because if one guy off, he'll knock the other guy off, and they can't mess up, and they need to be under 13, 14 seconds. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, snaps, and how they watch film. Alex, they literally watch film after every stop. They go in, they watch if anything happened. And like they told me, they go, Bernard, like all the boys on the 40 team, mad cool. They're like, yo, we don't talk about it. We don't linger. We keep it like football. We have a short memory. But whoever messed up, he know. All we say is, you buying the beer tonight. And so, like, that's so cool to me, because this is the teamwork coming in, right? Even though they may not get the accolades and just the publicity as the driver, but they're helping the driver. They're keeping the driver machine going, right? The crew chief is keeping the driver's machine going, helping the driver kind of get through things. The spotter is telling the driver what to do, guiding him. And I mean, just watching all of these guys work together and how they just articulated everything to me. It was so cool to be able to go into the garage and watch and see the technology behind each car, in the see the technology that's in each car, I should say. Alex, did you know that the racers can go on the track, they could take a lap, and the crew chief has enough data, or they can run like simulators
Mm-hmm.
or simulations around the track, and they could tell the driver what to look out for?
No, I didn't know that until you just told me the other day, and that was pretty interesting. I didn't think they had that, and it's actually interesting because when I was in Nashville last and I used your iRacing thing, like I
My
remember,
rig.
yeah, you're rig. When I was like doing like the practice laps, I could see like my last lap in front of me and like kind of what was going on. So like I didn't know they could do that kind of thing during the race. Like I would assume that they would have that kind of technology, obviously,
Right.
but I didn't know something like that was like allowed, like that they all use that.
Yes. And I mean, it's just, I mean, these are things, like I said, once again, from 2020 at 35 years old to 2021, I'm watching it and I'm just like, I keep telling y'all, I continue to fall in love with this sport. And so just to be able to go through that and see that, and I'm in the RV with Mr. Hendricks before I have to wave the green flag. I'm in the RV with Mr. Hendricks, and he's just schooling me on his 40 plus years in the game and his drivers, and telling me about, breaking down all his different drivers, and from Chase what he likes to do, and from Alex what he likes to do, from Kyle what he likes to do, from Byron, I think it's William Byron, what he likes to do. I mean, how he breaks them all, like he breaks it up. And he's like, dude, I got rules, right? Like, I got rules. I tell the guys, abide by my rules, but they got a little, they got some little leeway here or there. But he's like, just breaking down each and every one of them, and just telling me about it. I'm looking like, dang. Like, for him as a boss, like, he's like, look, like, we here to win. We got to produce. I want them boys P1 every week. If I can get P1, P2, P3, like he's done before, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So I'm just enjoying the moment. And he's like, yo, Bernard, like, I think he saw how genuine I was and really, really wanted to learn. He's like, yo, come to Charlotte. He like, Bernard, come to Charlotte. I'm gonna give you a tour. You're gonna learn about this. And he's like, yo, like, I got 290, I think this is okay for me to say, I got 299 cars. And I'm just like, what? He's like, I got 299 cars.
That's a lot of cars.
That's a lot of cars, right?
That's a ridiculous amount of cars.
Right. He like, Bernard, he's like, I'm giving you one for your time while you're there. I'm like, man, I'm trying to be humble. I'm like, man, I said, Mr. Hendrick, I'm good. He's like, nope, I got a Chevelle for you. And I'm just like, ooh, all
Well,
right.
that changed your mind a little bit.
They're right. That changed my mind. So, I mean, to be able to encounter this, once again, it's taking me back to my childhood. And once again, I don't want to downplay anybody else's experience. I don't want to downplay what you went through. But I'm telling you right now, for everybody who's listening, and I really want to I'm talking to everybody, but I really want to talk to black people. Like, come into the sport. Whether if you can't be a driver, you can be a part of the pit crew, the crew chief, the spotter. You can get involved some way, somehow. You can get involved. And man, this is just so awesome for me because Alex, like you got cousins here, my children. I got 4 kids. And so I'm breaking that cycle. My kids, yo, Dad, can I get on a simulator? Yep. Dad, can I drive? Yeah. Can I be a NASCAR driver? Yeah. Can I learn about that? Yes. I'm breaking that cycle. And once again, it's different. I get it. My experience is a little different, but it's still inclusive. I'm learning about the hot pass and things of that nature that NASCAR is doing. I'm like, man, people go out. You may not be able to wave the green flag, but people go out. Go out and see that. And so I look at it and I'm going back to, we getting ready to go. I got to go wave the green flag. Mr. Hendrick telling me, get out and hurry up. Don't mess it up. Like before I left, literally, like you say, don't break a leg. He was like, don't mess it up, Bernard. I was like, gotcha. So
Thanks.
I get there. We go, roll all the way around, go through the tunnel, roll all the way around. I go through the stands. I'm coming down the stands and I'm seeing things as I'm going down the stands. But then I go to approach the ladder. And once again, I'm scared of heights. So I go to approach the ladder. My body automatically stopped me from going to the ladder. And I was just like, everybody was like, go, Bernard, go. And so now I'm looking like, dang, they hyping me up. I got to go. So I go, take one step, grab. I'm getting up it. So for everybody that's listening on audio, you don't see the video, you see me, I'm up, taking each step. Booty crack out like a mug. I don't know why my pants, and they're fitted joggers, right? I don't know why my butt crack out. So I'm embarrassed about that. I'm embarrassed about them cheering me on. I get to the top, they cheer me on. I feel less of a man. Booty crack out. But then I thought about it. I was like, as I was coming down the stands, I saw all kind of booty cracks out. So they booty crack out, my booty crack out, all our booty cracks out. So we there. I'm holding tight to the pole. So I'm terrified. I didn't look up for the national anthem. I didn't look up for the people parachuting in. I didn't look up for the jets flying over. I was like, yo, I'm keeping my eyes. I was terrified. Did you see me?
No.
What? You're not helping me out, nigga.
No, they didn't show you instead of the people parachuting down.
You're right.
Showed the people parachuting down.
Right. I need to talk to them about that because they should have showed me. But Freddie was talking about me. So at the end of the day, y'all, like I'm looking, and so the official was just like, yo, Bernard, where's your headset? I go, what headset? He go, where's your earplugs? I go, what earplugs? So the ally ended up, Brian, my brother, ended up running he climb up. I turn around. Brian's standing right there behind me. I'm looking like, how'd you get up here? He's like, I was bringing your earplugs. He's like, everybody else was scared to come up the ladder. So I was looking like, I'm not the only one scared, right? So this was awesome to me. So Brian up there, we experiencing this together. I'm holding on to the rail and put the earplugs in. And the official was just like, Bernard, all right. So they're going to go 3 laps around. He said on the 4th lap, he said, you're going to wave the flag. He said, hold on to the little stick piece was about 4.5, 5 inches. And he was like, hold on to the cloth when you wave this flag. So I'm getting there, right? And so they're on their 3rd lap. I go, look, man, push me, pinch me, punch me, whatever, so I don't mess this up. He was like, I got you. So he was like, do not show them green. He's like, Bernard, if you show them green, they will trigger and go. So now I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm about to F this up. So he pushes me, nudges me. I just start waving that flag. The guy, he was like, don't stop waving it till the last car passed. So I'm waving it. I'm like, oh, heck yeah. Everybody go by, and then a caution happens. It's the 43 car. And so it sends us into a caution. I'm looking, I'm like, yo, y'all, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get down. They was like, no, you going to restart us. I go, hell no, I'm not. I'm ready to get down. So they all laughing at me. I'm looking like, okay, I got to get down. Everybody, all the fans like, oh, they all cheering me on to come down. Once again, booty crack out again. Why my butt crack decide to come out when I'm coming down on up and down the ladder? That's whatever. So I get down. Oh, my gosh. It was so awesome. Just talk with the fans. Pictures with the fans. I remember a little kid I took a picture with. He was so awesome, so cool. We threw up the peace sign, and he got so crunk, started dancing. It was awesome. But this was my experience at my first race. It was so awesome. So, Alex, we got to get you to a race. We got to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm starting to get a little interested. And I know we're
Ooh.
gonna talk about Pocono. I didn't watch it. I heard some things about it, but then first, just from watching the Ally 400, and I'm just gonna bring this up now. I think that we talked about the playoffs a little bit. I don't know if Kyle Larson is going to win it all. And just from look, just from my untrained eye, I'm just from what I have seen so far. Nashville, it was a new track. There were a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks.
Yeah.
I think that definitely helped them save that fuel, and get that win there. And I mean, still, then that was a pretty aggressive move. Basically, none of the announcers thought that he was going to make it. Um, but I kind of could see how he made it just because of how much fuel he was able to save. And then with Pocono and how Alex Bowman won, he blew the tire. And I mean, people say that's like a freak accident. I could be wrong here, but I mean, there's things that you can't control. And I mean, like heat, you can't really control the heat. So, coming into the end of the season, you could see more blown tires, you could see more melted parts. I think just from what I've heard you say, from what I saw at the Ally 400, I think he's a really good driver. Um, and I know, like you've told me, like he's the type of guy like he wants to race every day. He knows his car really well, but I think like that over aggressiveness, is working the car a little bit too much. I think he could have overheated that tire and caused it to blow there. And I know that the last race is in Phoenix. It's going to be what 120 degrees down on that track, plus the heat that the car is going to generate just around the car itself, around those tires, around those parts. And I don't know what kind of track it is. I don't know any of that stuff, but that could be interesting to see. I think I didn't watch it, and I mean I could get blown up for this.
Yes.
I honestly think that Alex Bowman was able to win that Pocono race because Larson was just a little bit too aggressive. Bowman was up there challenging him. So obviously, I mean, he's won what, four races and he's killed people in most of them. I mean, the Ally 400, he blew him away. It wasn't close. It was like 4, 5, 6 seconds. So I mean, I think just like the challenge of Bowman being up there might have pushed him a little bit too much, and then he might have pushed the car a little bit too much. I don't know. That's
I'm
just that's
ready.
just me. That's
I'm
just me.
about to unload on you, young grasshopper.
I mean, you could try, but I still think my theory could definitely hold,
Okay.
especially with the conditions of how the playoffs are going to be. We know that he's an aggressive driver. There's things you can't control. So I mean, it's definitely possible. I know that I'm not wrong. I just might not be right. It's
That
what I'm saying.
what?
I just know that what I'm saying is definitely possible.
Okay.
I know I'm not completely wrong here.
Okay. So look. Okay. Let me let you know something. As I talked to Mr. Hendricks, and I told you what Mr. Hendricks said. He said that Cal wants to race every day. He was like, I mean, and I'm finding out. I talked with Alex. Alex was just like, yo, he was like, Cal. I mean, he races dirt. He wants to be a part of all these different races, and that's where his skill level is just. I mean, it shows. I
Okay,
talked to
okay, real quick.
I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people have said like, as far as I was talking to the officials, and they was just like, when it comes down to the best driver, when I was at the Ally 400, this was the official said. Now, don't crucify me, y'all. The official said the best driver on the track by far is Kyle Busch. When it comes down
Okay.
to knowing how to use a car, how his skill, they said Kyle Busch is the best on the track. Kevin Harvick obviously is in there. Denny Hamlin is in there. But we cannot forget Kyle Larson because of the things that he's doing in all these different races and all these different cars and different tracks. Now, they haven't raced in Nashville for over 37 years, almost 37 years or whatever it may be. So
Hmm.
a lot of guys, was on the track for the first time. They qualified. They were doing qualifying and got, laps that
Hmm.
morning, that Sunday morning or whatever. So, that was new for a lot of guys. It was a lot of technical issues with cars that day. We saw Blaney go down early. We saw, other the 43 car get, messed up. So guys, things were happening, right?
See,
We
I feel
get
like
that.
you're supporting my point
Well,
even more. I
I'm
mean, things
saying
like that are going to help him.
right, but I'm saying
And
that like
saying he's
yes,
experienced, yes.
right.
I'm just saying there's things you can't control.
Well,
You
of
can't
course we can't
control how
we
hot
can't
it's going to be in
control.
Arizona.
Right, we can't control certain
You
things,
can't
but I
control
look
how
at
the
it.
other races are going to be.
I look at this and I'm saying Kyle Larson drives hard.
Exactly.
He is skilled. And you
I'm
know,
not disagreeing with you
right.
there.
So when we look at the Li 400, he won that race by what, 7 seconds? And it wasn't even close.
I think it was 4.
Oh, okay. I
I
thought it
think it
was
was
6 or 7.
4.
So
No, I think that guy that I don't remember his name, he came out of nowhere, but I think he got it down to 4 on the
okay.
last lap.
So when we look at this, like Kyle Larson is really good. I'm not about to take nothing away from him. That's how he drives. That's what got him 3 races and then the All-Star race, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
he almost had Pocono. Now we moved to as we talk about Pocono, like watching that race, I'm sitting there and I put a video out on Twitter. Like, y'all, I was going nuts. I was excited when Alex came and took the lead off the restart. And when he blew out of there on the restart and it was what, 17 to go, he get all the way down to 3. Kyle Larson was running hard behind him. And when he passed him, I think with 3 to go, if I'm not mistaken, don't crucify me, y'all. When he passed him with 3 to go, I was just like, dang. And he was just, I mean, rolling. And I'm sitting there yelling to my wife and my kids. I'm like, something crazy got to happen in order for Alex to win. And so when we look at this, you know, did he potentially run the race hard? Like, did he push his car? Potentially, maybe. Was it a freak accident? Maybe.
Okay, actually,
I might be with you on, did he push the car a little too hard and did the
okay,
tire
so
blow?
let me ask you this because I didn't watch the race. How close was third place behind the two of them? Or were they like separated, or was it like
I
there
want to
was like
say
a little pack?
it was a 3 sec. I want to say it was a little more than 3 seconds, if I'm
Okay,
not
see,
mistaken.
I think I personally think, and I don't know anything about NASCAR, I think he pushed that car too hard there, and
Okay,
that's why the tire blew.
okay.
Especially if they were separated
It might
and
have been. It
Bowman
might not
was,
have been 3 seconds.
challenging him a decent amount ahead. It's not like the third place was zero point 0.3 seconds behind, like right there.
Right. I mean,
I mean, and just from watching that Ally 400 and how he definitely dominated that race, it wasn't close.
right.
I mean, yes, he was still aggressive. He didn't take the pit stop. He just, tried to conserve the fuel and go. I think, and then with how he had won like the 4 races in a row, I think just his aggressive nature kind of took over there, and he pushed it too hard.
Okay.
Because I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this if anybody sees this. But I mean, I don't. It sounds like he probably wasn't comfortable just even after he overtook Bowman there. I feel like he couldn't have been comfortable with Bowman even still being that close that late in the race.
I mean, look, he's a competitor. He's a great driver. When his tire blew, it sucks. It sucked as for me,
Mm-hmm.
a competitor watching another competitor out there going to victory, and his tire blows. I was excited for. It sucked for Kyle. I was excited for Alex, and I went straight nuts. Now, once again, does he ride the car hard? Okay. Some people may agree with you. Some people may not agree with you. Is he just that skilled and that much better than every other driver? Some people may agree with you. Some people may
I mean,
disagree with you.
I still think he could be. I'm not saying he's a bad driver at all.
Right.
I'm just saying, as somebody who doesn't know NASCAR at all, I'm just going to put my hot take out there that he doesn't win the championship.
Okay, that's fine.
I think
That's
just
a long.
with that Arizona race, and I don't know what races come before that, but I think there's going to be opportunities for somebody like Kyle Busch. You said the officials saying he's the best driver out there.
That's what he said.
So I mean, and as the best driver out there, he's definitely going to know how much he can push his car.
Right.
Obviously, Larson's really good. He's driving really good right now. I don't know. That's just my hot take. He's not going to win. He's not going to win the championship.
That may happen because as in the 2020 season, Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin was dominating. Chase Elliott won the race. He won the championship. So it potentially could happen. We don't know. It's a long ways away. And, you're going to have to continue to watch racing and get into NASCAR in order for you, because I know Kyle Larson fans going to come back and they going to butcher you. And I'm just going to sit back and watch.
That's okay. I can watch some races. I can look some things up. You know this. I'll pull some stats out on you. You won't agree with me. It'll sound like I'm making some stuff up. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay.
Well, that,
I if I can look at some numbers and look at some hard
oh,
facts and videos, I'll be right.
you got to
I'll
watch
be
a
right.
race. You got to watch a race. But nevertheless, we
I will watch a race.
right.
I
So
have
we
watched
we all
one
saw
race.
Alex Bowman win. That was exciting. Kyle Busch, what came in second, and then the race Sunday. My goodness, everybody was like, "Yo, Bernard, Pocono is not this exciting." And and I'm just looking like somebody lied because it was super exciting. The weekend was just fun filled. It was awesome. So the second race on Sunday, I'm watching, and I didn't know anything about a fuel mileage race. If I'm saying it correctly, once again, don't crucify me. I'm a work in progress, guys. But to be able to watch this and watch this race and to watch guys be leading and to hear their spotter or to hear their crew chief, you got to pit. William Byron got to pit. Denny Hamlin got to pit. And Kyle Busch like, yo, he stay out there and roll with it and end up getting the victory because Alex was up there and he ended up dropping back to had to pit. He ended up dropping to 17th. He comes all the way back to 7th if I'm not mistaken. So I was pushing. I was expecting. I wanted a caution so bad, to give Alex a chance, but nevertheless, Kyle Busch stuck in fourth gear. And like people said, Kyle Busch can do more with less. And like they said with Kyle
See, and
Larson,
I think that's the kind of thing that can beat Kyle Larson,
time
who
out.
is a good driver, but an
time
aggressive
out.
driver.
They said the same thing with Kyle Larson. He's been doing more with less. So now that he has the funding, he has the right team behind him. The sky is the limit, I think, for Kyle Larson. Kyle Busch is a straight up animal. To be able to pull that off, to be able to take off and to have to pit during the caution, for them to get in the car, fix it while they're on the caution getting around. Dude, that was amazing to me. And I mean, just the competitor in me was going crazy inside. I wanted to see Alex win, but at the same time, I think I said it at the beginning of the race, I won't be surprised if Kyle Busch wins because this dude has been racing well. So he pulled off a P2 and a P1, and Alex pulled off a P1 and a P7. So I was able to see great racing. I was able to just get some great laughs and some great celebrations out, and to be able to celebrate with people and talk racing. So this was awesome to me. And so look, I'm ready for the next race, and I'm super excited because I'm going to, I think, 3 or 4 more races the rest of the year. So you're going to have to come with me, nephew. So we're gonna get a plane ticket. You're coming with me. I want to say they're at I forget where they're at next, but nevertheless, we'll find out.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know that one, right? So
I
look, we're
wouldn't
gonna
know.
find out, and guys, we're gonna be at all kind of races. But look, our time is up, and we're so excited you were here with us for our very first episode, and we talked my journey to NASCAR. You got the uncut version, y'all. This is the uncut version. So tune in. Hey, tune in because we're gonna laugh and have a good time.
See you
Appreciate
guys
you.
next time.
Yes, sir. See you next time.